Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to Cop Noise TV. The Reds are back. Yes, back to winning ways. Finally, we got a great win away from home at Frankfurt. It was well needed. We stopped the rot. I've got to say, I think we played all right. Tricky 5 minutes, but look, away in the Champions League, hostile atmosphere. That crowd looked absolutely amazing, by the way. The Eintracht Frankfurt faithful came out in their force, and I watched the game, all the build up to it as well, and it looked absolutely amazing. So hats off to them. But more importantly, Liverpool got back to winning ways, and we are back this weekend in the Premier League away at Brentford. Excuse me, Saturday evening kickoff. I mean, first and foremost, before I get into the opposition review and into my starting 11 prediction for Liverpool, a Saturday night, 8 o'clock kickoff, it's just shitting it. I mean, football's going absolutely tits up now with just the TV media kind of controlling the narrative in terms of kickoff times. I feel for the away fans. Unfortunately, I don't get to go to the away fans. I literally just cannot get an away ticket for love nor money. So obviously, home games for me it is. But no doubt, the Liverpool faithful will be travelling down there. And hopefully, if history has anything to go by, we will get a similar sort of outcome as to what Liverpool have had over the last few years. But before we talk about Liverpool, let's have a quick look at Brentford. Tricky opposition, Brentford, and I'll be honest, when they lost pretty much their star players of the last couple of years, so obviously Ivan Toney left the season previous to last, Wissa left in the summer to Newcastle, and I think most importantly, the member of Brentford, the staff member that they lost and valued the most was Thomas Frank. I think he was the person that pretty much held everything together. He was the glue that kind of knitted the whole entire squad together, and ultimately he was in charge of keeping Brentford up and giving them an identity of a decent footballing team, if I'm going to be honest. You know, Brentford have been known over the last few seasons of causing teams problems, and Man City is a prime example. I think Brentford have been to the Etihad over the last 3 years twice and won there. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but something along those lines. So Thomas Frank had them going really well. They were a well-oiled machine, and to be fair, when he left, and then I heard it was Keith Andrews that was taking over, I tipped Brentford as one of the teams to go down. And look, they still might do. Their form's a little bit up and down. We're going to get into that in a minute, but they're currently sitting 13th in the Premier League. Their form guide in their last 3. So they beat Man U at home 3-1. They lost at home to Man City 1-0, which, you know, is not a bad result really. And then the Monday Night Football just gone, they won 2-0 away to West Ham. And I had that on actually in the background whilst I was home. I was listening to that. I was doing a few bits, but I kind of had an ear on, and West Ham didn't lay a glove on Brentford. Brentford pissed that game. Absolutely pissed it. Honestly, it was ridiculously one-sided, that game. But before that, it was a bit of a tricky start for Brentford, to be honest, because they won 1 out of their first 5 games. But they seem to have turned it around, and one of the reasons for this now, big thing this season, not just with Brentford, but just talking just in the Premier League in general. And it's surprising actually, because Liverpool are one team that don't inherit this. Long throw-ins, there's been a lot of noise about it recently, or set pieces in general, but the long throw-ins are back in force, and pretty much every single team now is using a long throw, and none more so than Brentford. So Kevin Schade, he's got an unbelievable long throw. He just throws it and the ball just goes flat out, straight into the box like a missile. It's a great asset to have. I'm not a fan of it personally. I think it... Well, this is my opinion only. it's obviously an asset to use to get the ball into the box. I get it, but for me, it's like a cheat code, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's pretty much like a cheat code, because if you're going to cross a ball, cross on a little bit of elevation, whereas a throw-in, it's like a dart. The players can throw it like an arrow and just hone it in. You get all your big centre halves around the goalkeeper, and it causes havoc. And I'm not going to lie, that is one thing which I'm a little bit scared of coming into this weekend. I am not going to lie, because as much as Liverpool's two centre halves are big in stature, the fullbacks aren't, and we'll get onto that in a little bit when we're talking about Liverpool. But Liverpool are the biggest team. I think Virgil van Dijk, Konate, Dominic Szoboszlai, Ekitike, Isak, I dare say they're the only players that are over 6 foot. And that's not without standing the goalkeeper. Obviously, Mamardashvili, I think he's about 6'5" or something like that. But this is going to be a key element of where this game is won and lost for me, because Brentford are dangerous from a long throw, and Liverpool are suspect to defending set pieces at the moment. So Brentford are definitely 100 million% going to be launching that ball into Liverpool's box whenever they can. Now, that is not underestimating their new striker that they've got, Igor Thiago. And why is it that anyone who has Thiago in their name just seems to be a shit-hot footballer? And it's early days, I know, but Brentford have signed a striker, Brazilian striker called Igor Thiago, and this guy looks decent. He's played 8 times in the Premier League, and he's bagged 5. This is for Brentford, by the way, and please, any Brentford fans who are watching this, please don't take offence to that. But to play 8 times and bag 5 goals in the Premier League, that's like Erling Haaland kind of numbers. It's a fair play to the guy, and he's played in the League Cup as well. He's bagged 1-in-1 in the League Cup. So this guy is on fire. And I actually watched him play in the 3-1 win to Man United, and he run that defence ragged at times. And I'm going to say, I am going to throw this out there, and I know that anyone, Man United fans who catch wind of this, will just be like, haha, we beat you. But it's not hard to run Man United's defence ragged these days. Yes, I know we lost to Man United. Throw the shade. Come on, throw it at me. Cool. So, Brentford, tricky outfit, as I said, tricky start to the season. They won in 5, but they've been doing all right as of times. But let's get on to Liverpool, shall we? We've talk about tricky times. We've been in a very, very, very tricky space recently. However, top of the show, I mentioned it. We got the win that we needed to stop the rot away in the Champions League to Eintracht Frankfurt. Scored 5 goals, played pretty well, and I've got to say, I was quite impressed by Arne Slot's team selection. And what I mean by that is I think he was bold. He had some big choices to make. Obviously, the situation with Mo Salah. What's he going to do with Kirkes? Because he's been struggling. He's one player that I want to kind of focus on for a couple of minutes if I can. Milos Kirkes is obviously a great player. He had a superb season for Bournemouth last year. He's come to Liverpool. It's obviously a whole different stratosphere, Bournemouth to Liverpool. That's no disrespect, but it is. You're talking galaxies apart, not even worlds apart, galaxies apart. And he struggled with it. At the times, that guy has looked like he's never been introduced to a football before. That's how much of a, I don't want to say a bad start, but I suppose, look, there's no point watering down oil. He's had a bad start to his career at Liverpool, and I liked what Arne Slot did this week away to Frankfurt. He took him out of the team, took him out of the firing line, put Andy Robertson in there, and look, Andy Robertson, we all know isn't the player he once was of 5 to 6 years ago. Father Time has, I won't say has caught up with him, but he's catching him pretty quick. However, he's tried, he's tested, and listen, for all those Liverpool fans out there who are saying he's done at Liverpool, just remember, Andy Robertson was the defender that took us to a league title last year. He was the player that played left back for us throughout all the season. So for me, I think it was a great move by Slot, bringing him in. And likewise, I think as well with the opposite fullback, with Frimpong, and look, he obviously picked up an injury, so therefore he's probably going to be ruled out for this game, I reckon. It didn't look great. There was no one. I think he went into a tackle, then he received the ball, short pass from Kanate, he went down with no one around him. He obviously felt something. So it's highly doubtful that Jeremy Frimpong will play this game. But also in midfield, I liked the fact that Curtis Jones come into the fold, and I hope Curtis Jones stays in the fold, because for me, this guy is so underrated. I understand he's not the biggest goal scorer. I understand that he doesn't smash 40, 50 diags like Stevie G and Javi Alonso used to do of time gone by. Get all that. But when you need a player to sit in the middle of the park and keep a football, retain that football, whether it goes sideways, backwards, forwards, just grab a hold of a football match. If you're feeling a little bit under the cosh, he's a great asset to have as Curtis Jones. He will keep the ball. He will, and I think we need to keep him in the side now. Alexis McAllister is having a tough time at the moment. He obviously took an absolute whack off Virgil van Dijk the other day when we lost to Man United, but he's been struggling. He's been struggling. Arne Slot said that he didn't really have a pre-season. He obviously fancies him because I thought, if anyone who watched my build-up show to the Man United game, that was a prime time to bring Florian Wirtz into it. I think with a Liverpool 3 in midfield against the Man United 2 in midfield, letting Wirtz have that space to operate, and look what he did last night. When he gets time and space on the ball, and he's feeling the game, he can operate in those pockets in between midfield and the front line for Liverpool. He's a class act, and he showed that last night by getting a couple of assists, and he should have had a goal, really, shouldn't we? I mean, Mo Salah came on, it was at a tight angle, he went to nutmeg the goalkeeper, and he could have just literally played a 5-yard pass straight square to Florian Wirtz to pick up his first goal for Liverpool, and it would have capped off a perfect night for him. He would have got 2 assists, a goal. But listen, Mo Salah is Mo Salah. Do I think he should have passed the ball? Yes. However, you don't pick up the numbers in terms of goal scoring numbers like Mo Salah has by passing to other players when you've got half a chance at scoring. As I say, don't agree with it, but we all know what Mo Salah's like. But let's get into my starting 11 then, shall we? Because as I say, I think Slot was bold in what he did in the week. What's he going to do at the weekend? Well, for me, I think the back four pretty much speaks for itself, and the only really question mark in the back four is the left back. So let's start there. Andy Robertson, Milos Kerkez. Now for me, you keep Robertson in that team. As I said, Kerkez has had a really tough time. Kerkez's season was summed up by that throw-in, and you all know what I'm talking about, against Man United. He looked backwards, he looked forwards, he looked straight, he didn't have a clue what to do, he just chucked it down the line, he gave a foul throw, his foot was up in there. I've never seen anything like it in all my years of watching football. I was absolutely pissing myself in the stands watching that, because I actually couldn't believe what he'd just done. And as I say, he's having a tough time at the moment, and that's summed his season up. So for me, he'll come good. I have no doubt about that. He hasn't become a bad player overnight. Keep Robertson in there. He's tried, he's tested. He's just had 90 minutes under his belt in the week. Keep him going. Van Dijk, Kanate, centre halves, Conor Bradley, right back. Because Jeremy Frimpong is obviously probably not going to be fit. In midfield, I reckon there's a question mark over Gravenberch. Is he going to be fit or not? I don't know. But for me, I would keep Curtis Jones in there. I think he's suited to that CDM role. I think if we can give him more time in that role, it will free up a lot more time for Ryan Gravenberch to be able to step out of the side if he needs rest. Because at the moment, Ryan Gravenberch, if he's fit, he's one of the first names on the team sheet, along with Alisson Van Dijk. Gravenberch is in that mould now. If we can give him some time off, and if Curtis Jones can play in that role more, if he can get used to that role more minutes, adapt to it, he'd be a bit more fluent in that, get some rhythm into it. Because as I say, I think he's so underrated as a footballer. How he retains possession is a key element, and one key element in what Liverpool need and what Liverpool are missing sometimes in that midfield. We've struggled to link defence, midfield, attack. It's so evident, it's unbelievable, and I think Curtis Jones can do that. I think he is the man that can knit those little balls together between the lines. Up into the 2-8s, I'd have Szoboszlai and Wirtz. Similar to the week, I think Szoboszlai is a starter every single week for me, regardless. And I don't want to see him playing at right back. Absolutely fucking not. He's wasted there. Szoboszlai has to play in that number 8 on the right hand side, where he has been used to be playing now since he's played for Liverpool. And then on the left hand side of him, I want to see Florian Wirtz pick up where he left off in Germany on Wednesday night. And I think excuse me, we will see a much better, a much more fluid and a much more confident Florian Wirtz now that he's got a couple of assists in his locker. And I just want to see him go from strength to strength now. Up top, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. Or does it show? Cody Gakpo is on the left for me. I think that speaks for itself. Hugo Ekitike has to start this game. Has to. And the only reason why I've got him up top is because if you are listening to Arne Slot's press conference, he said that Alexander Isak got a knock to his groin. Will he be fit? Potentially. I don't know. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see on that. But for now, I'm starting Ekitike anyway. I really am. I think it's his shirt. It's his shirt to lose. That number 9 is his shirt. I don't want to see him play on the left. I don't want to see him play on the right. I want to see him playing up top, where he has done for Liverpool pretty much all the season now, and he's flourished. The guy's on fire at the moment. You can see he's got an aura about him. He's got a swagger about him. And listen, I have no doubt that Alexander Isak will be amazing for Liverpool. But something's not right with him at the moment. It just isn't. And I obviously don't watch him week in, week out when he played for Newcastle. But when I watch him in a Liverpool shirt now, his body language is a little bit off for me. He doesn't seem himself. He doesn't seem fully happy. I don't know whether the price tag's kind of weighing heavy on him, maybe. Similar to other players. I know Newcastle's a big club, but going from Newcastle to Liverpool is a massive, massive jump. And is he potentially feeling that pressure? I don't know. But he doesn't seem himself. He doesn't seem happy. And I think, similar to Kirkes, just take him out of the firing line. If you've got a striker that is fit and scoring goals, why would you take that striker out just because you've got another striker that is potentially worth another 50, 60 million more than? Keep Ekitike in the team, number 9, where he wants to be playing, and you just keep bringing Isak, you keep integrating him into the team, and listen, if it takes till after Christmas, he's going to fight for that shirt, because Ekitike at the moment, that number 9 shirt is his to lose. And on the right hand side, this is the one where it gets a little bit tricky, because do you bring him back, don't you bring him back? For me, Mo Salah comes back into the team, and look, there's a pressure on him now. There's a pressure on Mo Salah that he has to do something here, because he got given a pass last season. I can't remember what interview it was, but he did an interview with, it might be with Gary Neville actually, and he basically had a conversation with Arne Slot before pre-season, and he said to him, "Boss, if you reserve my energy by stopping me from defending, get other people to cover me, I'll make sure that I guarantee you goals and assists going that way. And he did. Mo Salah delivered what he said he was going to do. However, this season, he's not delivered. Therefore, this is where the pressure comes from. And listen, Mo Salah has plenty of credit in the bank with me when it comes to dropping him or keeping him in the starting lineup. He's a world-class talent. He's had a tough month or two in the best part of what? He's been at Liverpool 7 years now, 8 years, something like that. So if you've had 1 or 2 bad months in the best part of 7, 8 years, that's not bad going for me. So Mo Salah comes back into the team for me, but he's got to perform. And if he doesn't perform, then, you know, we've got players like Chiesa that can step in. We've got Isak that can come in. Ekitike can drop to the wing. They can integrate. The pressure's on him. But at the end of the day, if we've got players that are sat behind him, chomping at the bit, raring to go for Liverpool, then to me, that only bodes well for Liverpool as a club, because it will keep the players that are not getting in the team, it will keep them hungry, and it will keep pushing the starting 11, saying, well, hang on a minute, if you're not playing, I'm going to be sat here ready to take your place. So that would be my starting 11, Reds. Let me know in the comments below what you would do this Saturday, 8 PM kickoff away to Brentford. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button right now. I'll catch you in a bit.